Can you believe that it has only been a year since Rise of Skywalker was released? It feels like it was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. At this point, Rise of Skywalker reviews and reactions have been done to death, and then cloned, and then killed again. But I just rewatched the movie for the first time since I saw it in theaters last year.
Oh, I have a bad feeling about this.
And I had one highly specific, weird thought that I wanted to discuss. A very weird thought. I want to say that this video will be controversial, but I think that most people will just find it strange and upsetting. Like, all of the dislikes will be from people who are genuinely worried about me and just want me to go outside more. I will also say up front that Rise of Skywalker was an enjoyable movie experience in the moment, but to me, it was also an unsatisfying conclusion to the sequel trilogy. And please let the record show that I love camp and bad movies. I'm actually really easy to please when it comes to entertainment. Like, I enjoy watching and picking apart Hallmark movies, specifically because they were never intended to be analyzed critically in any way. But I do still enjoy watching them. If I watch something and it had pretty colors and nice outfits and it made me laugh and it had attractive people, I generally say, yes, that was a good thing. I liked that thing. For me, the worst thing a movie can be is when it's not a well-constructed movie, but it's also not a fun, bad movie. When there was potential, but it was squandered. So, Rise of Skywalker was a visually nice movie, and I find Poe Dameron very attractive, and I did laugh a few times, but ultimately it just felt full of wasted plot points and unrealized character arcs. But it definitely wasn't weird enough to qualify as a bad movie. When I see a disappointing movie, I like to imagine the smallest changes that would have made it better in some way. Like, honestly, just the tiniest changes possible that would have had the biggest impact on the plot. Now, for Rise of Skywalker, it would have taken a lot of changes to turn this into a thoughtful, well-constructed, and cohesive movie. But it only would have taken one change to turn it into delightful camp. And that change would have been SEXY Palpatine. I truly thought that they were going to do that. Before this movie, I wasn't looking for spoilers, but I wasn't actively avoiding them either. So I heard the rumor that Matt Smith was going to be in this movie playing a Palpatine clone. And then I saw an article that said that that wasn't true, but since I didn't really look into it, I went into the movie with that in the back of my mind. And then we see Palpatine and he's all old and gross, so my dreams were crushed.
Kill the girl.
But then, at the end of the movie, when he's draining the life force out of Rey and Ben, and his fingers started regenerating, I got so excited. The power of two restores the one true emperor. Like, I think I just reached over and grabbed the friend that I'd gone to see the movie with and garbled something unintelligible about sexy Palpatine. And then it didn't happen. He was still old and gross, just to a slightly lesser degree.
I fell, so falls the last Skywalker.
So, to me, it would have saved this movie if instead Palpatine began stealing the life force from Rey and Ben, and then he started regenerating. And then he continued regenerating until he turned into a younger, sexier man. Presumably Matt Smith. I Google image searched sexy Matt Smith, and this is what came up. I mean, sure, why not? It's fine. Anyway, so then Matt Smith is all strutting around in a loose robe with a bare chest, and he explains that his previous attempts to clone himself all resulted in flawed failures. Either stable clones without any force ability, like Rey's father, or these rapidly decaying husks that were strong in the force. Now I no longer need to occupy your sexy body, since your force powers have stabilized my own sexy organs and muscles and connective tissues. Oh, that was so bad. I have so many sexy midi-chlorians inside this body. Oh, what are midi-chlorians? Well, I'm glad you asked. Midi-chlorians are microscopic life forms that reside inside every living cell. Not only do you get Star Wars just leaning into the camp, which is fun, but you also get an explanation about the whole clone thing, because they didn't really explain it in the movie. They just stated it after the fact in interviews and articles. That, yes, Palpatine cloned himself, and Rey's dad was a failed clone, and that is how Palpatine was her grandfather. I feel like that would be important to explain. With this change, they could have also used a visual cue and had Matt Smith play Rey's dad in the flashback of her parents that we saw. And then the rest of the movie proceeds as planned. Just the only change is Sexy Palpatine and a line explaining Sexy Palpatine. That's it. That would make this movie just so weird that I would have to love it. You know, go big or go home. And Rise of Skywalker just went medium. This is the whole reason I wore this blanket. There's a lot of like static from this blanket. This blanket is being weird with my hair. But I made this choice and I'm gonna see it through.